It is Monday, June the 3rd, 2019. And what started out just a short time ago as the altcoin bagholders nightmare might have turned around now, and it could be the time for the altcoin bagholders revenge. Let's check it out in this episode of the Bull Market Watch. Just a quick look at our disclaimer here before I get going. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. We're going to jump in here and I'm going to do a few checks before we get going. First of all, we have the Bull Market Watch spreadsheet that I want to share in the chat. And when I share that in the chat, it should come up on the website in the video as well. So I want to double check. There we go. It is working. So that chat part is working. Next thing I want to do is share that spreadsheet in the chat. So anybody who's watching this afterwards, you can follow along in the spreadsheet that I'm updating, the thing I'm doing every day in this live stream. Pretty much every day. All right. So today in this episode, I need your help to uncover the top altcoins with the biggest potential gains in June. So I want you to leave your comments in the chat, or I want you to leave your comments down below the video in the comments down below with your reasons for why any one of these coins are going to be the ones that are taking off for June. And not just any reason out of the hat. We're really working on a specific trading system here and proving it. So for those of you who don't know, we're going over a very simple trading plan. It has 3 different categories for it. And I encourage you to go over to the website, digitalcurrencytraders.com, and sign up, get the free chapter on the homepage. And then you're going to be speaking the same language as we are. So there are 3 things that we're looking for, and we'll use Ardor as an example. We're looking for the lowest price in the recent downtrend. So from April 1st until May 13th, all of the alts pretty much took a hit as Bitcoin was going up. Now, as Bitcoin's staging in this potential breakout to go higher still, all of the alts are making potential bottom formations. And this happens over and over again on the downtrend. As Bitcoin's going up, the alts could be doing this potential bottom as we have a potential top, and then we continue on the trend all the way down and down and down for months. And we saw this happen in 2016 until March of 2017. It was a long time that the alts went down as Bitcoin went up. We could be seeing the same thing as that right now. And so I want to prepare for, looking both ways before we cross the street. So what we're looking for are the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations now. The first requirement is the break of the downtrend line. The second requirement is the 1, 2, 3 bottom. And the third requirement is that the exponential moving averages on the 60-20 setting cross over. So when all 3 of those things happen, that is our buy signal. We saw a whole bunch of that happen between December and the end of March. There were a whole bunch of markets. Let me circle this time frame. This is the time frame here where a whole bunch of markets did a big move up as Bitcoin was gathering. And I want to know which ones are the ones that did the first move and the ones that did the second move, because they came in waves where from this part of December here, we had a wave of coins that did things, and then we had a second wave. So I'm believing that the coins that did this first wave from early December, and they did the biggest moves here until the mid of January, those are going to be the coins that are going to be giving us the biggest gains. So right now, they're going to be making 1, 2, 3 bottom formations with the exponential moving average crossover. And they also have the history of doing a big move first back in December. And this is what I want your help to identify as we're going through, because I've got my hands full just going through and saying this is neutral. It doesn't pass all of those requirements yet. It doesn't quite make it to an alert. You could write it into your own trading plan to say, just pay attention. If it's breaking above these levels, double check everything. Double check the relative strength index, which is really looking great. Check all those things to confirm your trades. Oh, I got to look over at the chat and I got to double check. Hello. double check and see how it is coming up. So it is broadcasting. It isn't broadcasting on Twitch, but it is taking the chat from there and adding it in here. So good to see you along, Traitor Rituto. Binance platform for me, 8 BNB in 51 BNB. I don't get it, but good to have you here. AOL Chandra, good to have you along as well. And Borgil Psych, hello. Let's continue on the mission. Adam has broken out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and is taken off. So we had a few different signals on this in our trading alerts. If you want to know more about our trading alerts, you'll find them over on digitalcurrencytraders.com as well. You can go to the crypto signals and alerts package and check it out, $7 or $1 for 7 days. Or I encourage you to sign up for that free chapter on the website so that you know what we're talking about here in this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and why that arrow was sticking right there as where our buy signal was. Now we're standing happy on this trade and away it goes. I keep my stop loss back here and give it time. There's nothing to do in this one. And we can see in our basic spreadsheet here, it's already been marked as a hold. So we saw it coming. We saw it be an alert. We saw it turn into a hold. I like to see that. And we can see all the way through and along as we were watching this trade unfold. Fantastic stuff. Hey, Sky for short. Let's continue on. Basic attention token. So if you think basic attention token is going to be one that's going to be taking off in June and be one of our biggest movers, it didn't take off early in December. It was back in mid-February. We had a whole bunch that did great from mid-February until the end of March. And I want to see, is this a bottom formation that's going to be taking off? Right now, I'll mark it as neutral. BCH ABC, got to zoom in on this. It still is neutral. It's actually getting more bearish, which gives me, we'll have to call that a cold fish. Where is? So if this exponential moving average crosses over and we get this crossover point again, that will become a cold fish in our spreadsheet, in our database. That would be an exit, get out of the trade when the exponential moving averages on the 12-hour time frame cross. That, for me, that's a get out. You're still holding, but I think it will hit 1500 Satoshi. Which one? Basic attention token? Or for AMB? Yes, I invite questions as well. We can jump over and check out different coins. This panel is set up for Bitcoin right now, but I can go over to Binance and look at AMB. Filter by Bitcoin. Get rid of my favorites. AMB is making a top formation and coming down right now in this small time frame. And we can see the MACD indicator is not looking positive, is not looking happy there for this. And it's right at historical lows. So this is the trouble. This is the trouble that I want to go over when we're looking both ways. And I'm glad you brought this up. Let me clear this off. What do we have in common with every one of these trend lines? It's a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. There's the breakout here from the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. There's the breakout. So it took off and went above. And if you didn't get your stop loss above your entry point, then you are in a loss. You got to immediately, when you get these breakouts, put that stop loss up above your entry point, because we are looking for a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in a downtrend. So over and over and over and over and over, this system will fail and you will lose money if you don't have your risk control strategies in place first. Before you're studying when to get in, you have to know when are you going to get out and why. And what is the weakness of the trading system that you're trading. So the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is persistently a killer if you are getting in here and you are not getting out and taking your losses here. And so over and over again, you can see that this was a losing proposition to get into this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. You got wicked in and killed wicked in and killed, wicked in and killed, and all of this whole downtrend. And so it's an essential part of the whole strategy to put on a very small bit of your trade at the beginning on all of these, and then you add on to it when you're correct. When the tide has proven to change direction, then you are correct. And we can see here that on the 1-day view, this exponential moving average never did cross. And it's nowhere near crossing right now. So we're hunting for bottom formations really at a dangerous time in a downtrend. So once you know that, then you can put on a little bit of your position here, and you can know by looking at the whole history that as all of this huge amount of money that's coming into altcoins actually does manifest itself, and it will, we're going to see a final 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's going to break out. It's going to go up and retest these levels. It's going to fool around there, and then it's going to give us a breakout higher, and it's probably going to come back and retest things again. And every time it comes back to do a retest and a breakout, we've got another place to be adding on with confidence that we are now in the other direction. So if you put on all of it here, sure, you could make a lot more money on the way up, but there's a lot more risk of losing and losing and losing and losing all the way down. So I'm glad you brought up AMB as a chart. That's a beautiful example that it did a bottom in December and it just went on down anyway. I like this volume pattern here. I love the 1, 2, 3 bottom. I am invested in AMB. I do have a bit of it, and I would add on after it proves me correct. So now let me go back to the chart and thank you, Trator Rituto. Why does my tongue have trouble with that? Rituto. And Julius, good to have you along. What are my top 3 coins in Poloniex currently? That is the study for today. We're going over what are the top 3 coins for June in Poloniex. And the idea is today to look for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations that are looking good in combination with a coin that did a big move from December, early December, one of those early movers. That's what I'm thinking, rather than one of the coins that did the move from mid-February all the way up. Those were good, but I think those are the second wave. There was a wave of coins that went up first here, and they topped out and were pulling back as Bitcoin was going up. And then there's the second wave that did the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here and broke out and went up. So ideally, we'd want all of our money in this wave, and then we want to get out of the top formation and put all our money into this wave and get out of the top formation. That'd be awesome. Hindsight is so wonderful. Anyway, let's go on. Basic attention token is already marked as neutral because it isn't finished out enough of a bottom. I like the historical levels, and so it's something to be paying attention to. And then BCH ABC almost looking like a cold fish here, almost giving us the exit signal. SV, the most unexpected takeoff of all. It kicked ass for everything in May. Absolutely blasted off, and I didn't have any and wasn't watching it. I don't even have it on my list here. I have to fix that later. BCN is still neutral. BNT. Okay, Banker Network token still neutral and actually looking pretty near failish, a little bit lower than that, and I'll turn that to a near fail. And that's important to know, because if these coins are going to continue downward, as if Bitcoin goes parabolic, this should give us the first indicator. So Bitcoin, of course, is still a hold, and we talked about that on the other stream. BitShares is still neutral, not so different. Clams, I'm going to leave at, this is delisted. Clams, I'm going to leave as just a complete fail for now. Like there's nothing doing in this market. It was completely manipulated. There's nothing going on in this. Anyway, one of our members lost a ton of money on this drop right there. Really invested heavily on this move as it was taking off. And it's definitely, I've done it before myself, full mode into something like that and lost tons of money fast because I didn't understand the risk control rules and how to set up my positions. I'm still learning, of course, always, but I always look for these bottom formations here, and all of us as a group, we're going to pay more attention to what is the potential for a top formation in all of these. Is this the top formation? And we're already still coming down. So it is a good looking potential bottom formation, but so are all of these all the way down. So we had a good looking potential 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up here. We had a good potential bottom formation all the way, all the way, all the way. Eventually we'll get it, and it'll make all of this losing money back. All of this money that we lost, theoretically, all the money we lost here testing this out. If you lost money here testing this out, eventually, of course, this bit of money and this bit of money will all be regained as the prices go up and up and up. Eventually, theoretically, we'll see how that plays out in time. Civic Coin stays as a neutral in our spreadsheet until this starts to cross over. Dash, I believe, will stay neutral in between this, and it's coming to a really nice point. I like when the prices come to a specific point like that. It gives you a very, if you haven't got a position in this and you've been watching for when to take a position, these kind of moments are nice because you can get a very nice, clear risk area that you can put on a very small trade. If it proves you correct, you're right away. It's got a very small range to prove you correct, and if it retests these levels and starts to go up, then you know you're laughing, and you can add on to that trade, and you've entered correctly the least risky way. So I'm going to leave it as neutral right now, but you can see that that'll turn into an alert and a hold pretty quickly if it starts to go up. Decreed, I'm going to put it back to a near fail. And I don't like to see any of the markets go to near fail. That means that we are continuing on this downtrend, and there's not enough evidence yet of it turning around. Digibyte is making a potential 1, 2, 3 bottom, and you can see here that we have a potential for an alert here that you could start establishing a little position. And if it doesn't prove you correct, you've got this emergency stop loss, but I would be getting out more quickly than that. So I'll leave it as an alert for right now. Dogecoin, I've had as an alert for a bit. It stays as an alert. EOS was still marked as a hold because it got in, because of where we got in, and you can see here that in one of my trades, I got in profitably, moved my stop loss up above my entry, and prices have come back and just touched me out. So this one I'd be re-watching again now, starting to zoom in on these time frames to see, is this going to make a 1, 2, 3 bottom and a reversal here for me? Because it would be at significant price levels that could be re-evaluated as an entry spot again, but it's a lot more work. I'm going to leave it as a hold for our spreadsheet here just because it's bullishness enough that it hasn't broken down to neutral again. So that you understand where that color code came from. Ethereum Classic goes from our alert the last few days to a hold. Now that's nice. That's the more yellow I'm seeing, the more green I'm seeing, the happier this is. Ethereum, though, isn't as performing as well as Ethereum Classic. For now, it's still neutral and almost like near fail territory for this chart pattern. Factum, now if Bitcoin is easing off, Factum should be taking off. And it's consolidating, but it's not doing anything. I'm going to put it as near fail again. Foam is just making a little wick up out of this potential bottom, so I'm going to make that into a hold. We put it as an alert the last couple days. It's broken out. The exponential moving averages have crossed over. Let's see, on the 12-hour time frame. Yes, they did. So we do have our criteria. Here's our, let's see. Here's the downtrend line break. Here's the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout, and the exponential moving average crossover on the 12-hour time frame. Even though this is a very short historical market, that gives us everything we need. Some people call this the W formation, and you can see the W pattern in there. It's a simple retest of a recent high or low, and it works in any time frame, and you will always see this at a market turnaround. Some variation of this. So foam turns to green. I love it. There's more green coming in. Game credits, I'll put it up to neutral. I don't know about the project itself. I don't know. Gas was making 3 times off this bottom. It just edged higher and pulled back a little bit. So I'm going to leave it as an alert. Do you think it's time to join fiat into the altcoins? I can never tell yes or no on these things. All I do is look at the pattern, and then I start phasing in and phasing out myself. So until you know the whole pattern that I do and the risk control rules for getting in, then it's harder for me to tell you yes or no for certain. And Bitcoin, I don't know. It could come way back from where it is right now. It's making such a top formation, such a perfect uptrend line here that if it breaks that, it feels like it'll really be heavy. But it also is getting so much buy-in in all the altcoins that it seems inevitable that it's going to be going from 8,000 to 14,000 in like 3 days. It'll just, everybody's jaw will drop. And I don't know what'll happen with the altcoins. That's why I do these things over and over again, so that we can look back on them and see. So Grin, anyway, is a neutral coin and almost a near fail if it turned around a bit more. Kyber network token, also neutral, and maybe go higher. Yeah. Neutral. Library credits, I was really sad to see it taking such a hit. But it is now neutral. It's up. It's not a near fail anymore. So that's good. Hey, OZK DAO, good to have you along. So we're looking for the answer to the question, which are these altcoins, if any, are going to be the biggest movers going into June? So what I'm looking for is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, a good consolidation pattern, some nice volume setup, and also the coin, I'm thinking, that took off in December rather than the coins that did it in mid-February until the end of March. So we had a 6-week little run here, but I'm thinking the coins that did this move are going to be the ones that are first. And you know what? Because I'm doing this, I'm not marking that part down. So I'm asking for your guys' help as we go through this to identify those. Look at this. This goes down. It was a near fail. I'm going to leave it still as a near fail, but I thought this would be a bottom and it would hold itself up a little bit, but no. Lisk, how are you doing? Okay, you got a double bottom there at least, and you're neutral, not failing. Litecoin was marked as a hold because we had this double bottom and it bounced above it. But man, that's just holding its position there. And okay, we'd have to wait for the exponential moving average to cross over to give us the cold fish. Library credit. Okay. Yes, thank you. It automatically put an NF instead of N in the spreadsheet. Thank you. I didn't catch that. I appreciate that. Awesome. Litecoin, MadeSafe coin had moved back to a neutral. How do I move it back to a neutral without it crossing over the exponential moving averages? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave it as a hold now, because it did cross over. It did break our downtrend. It is a little 1, 2, 3 bottom. It's not pretty, and it's very risky because it moved up so fast. So you couldn't get into this with a big position. And if you did, you would have to let it be through this range. You'd have to be comfortable with that much range of trading. So this is why when I go back to Dash coin, it kind of got out of my range for my 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I'm not comfortable to leave, get into a 1, 2, 3 and leave my stop down below this level. If it breaks above here, that's too big of a range for me. And so then I shy away from that as a trading signal. But if I'm going to trade it and it does cross over, then this isn't trading. This is just bullishness or bearishness index. I got to keep reminding myself. And I got to keep zipping through this. I got a time crunch here today. Lots of good stuff to do. There's so much going on in the markets. Mana, I'm going to mark this as a near fail. You can see here we've got it mapped out that it may be an alert. But right now, for our purposes here, I don't like this red candle coming down to what would be the 1, 2, 3, pushing on the number 3 point. That's not happy. NAV is doing a little better. 1, 2, 3, and it's pulling back, but not going against this number 3 point, so it stays neutral. Neutral. NMR is also neutral by a close range. NXT was a near fail last time, and I think it's a near fail this time. OMG. Now, I'm watching OMG and Mana with kind of FOMO for both because I sold some mana and bought OMG. Both of them in bottom formations, and now of course because I sold mana, I'm watching it. Omni near fail. Not looking good. We gotta do that on the right one. Near fail. Pascal, how are you? You are not doing so well. Right now, you are not passing our mark. And the more of these that are coming down to our fail territory, they're failing to keep this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. That's not good for the overall market, but there's going to be waves that we're watching. We'll just keep watching. This is still a near fail. So this kind of work isn't profound in each day, but day by day when we add up this whole thing, it really gets to be amazing when it tells us the turnaround is happening. This is neutral right now. I'm going to leave it as an alert actually, just because of the way it's poked its head above these prices and pulled back but held above here. That's pretty good. When this, should it go higher, this exponential moving average will cross and it'll give us our signal. Rep, I'm surprised how down low it's gone. I'm going to leave that marked as a fail. I really thought that was going to be doing much more. Coin. So this is another reason why trading by these patterns is important. Let's go back to what did I just say about rep. Oh, I'm so surprised it went down like this. I wasn't expecting it. So if I had traded by my expectations, I would still be holding that because I'm expecting it to go up. But if I trade by this exponential moving average crossover and that 1, 2, 3 top formation, no matter what my expectations are, my back history does way better than my own trading because of my own expectations over and over and over again. So it is the reason I started this channel in the first place, is to become more disciplined in following my own trading system. And it really does work. It really has helped. The more you go over this and over it, you get these patterns. And especially to have gone over so recently more of these wonderful 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakouts that fade off into nothing. A really great breakout that fades off into nothing. So over and over again, you're getting burned and burned and burned. And this is one of the 2 lessons we learn in life naturally. This is lesson number 1, that when you get punished, you learn not to do that. These are the lessons you get punished for. But there are the lessons that you don't get punished for. You just don't get the rewards. Those are the harder lessons to learn. Unless somebody points them out to you, you can't even know that lesson was missed. And we'll talk more about that, but afterwards. SNT is still neutral, but just barely. Steam is also neutral, and these are really building up. I like some of the volume pattern in Steam. There's more going on here behind the scenes with that project than what's going on in the charts, and you can see the difference. Look what's going on in storage. I love the project, and there's the top formation, exponential moving average crossover, time to sell. And then look at the volume underneath there compared to Steam. The pattern going on in Steam is much different. There's something more going on with this project than with storage right now. So I love the project, but the chart is neutral. So I got to trade according to the chart patterns and not my preference of the project. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up here, but still neutral. No time to take action. There's a lot of time to sit. And then once you do take action, then there's a lot of time to sit after that. This is neutral still. And by going through this with me, you can see that some of these are marked neutral and they look like they're going to be near fails. Some of them are marked neutral and they look like they're just about to be alerts. So the color neutral still has some range in it. This has got to be near fail. Well, okay, I'll leave it as fail. VTC is still near fail, but it really could turn around quickly. XEM, also, I'm biased because of my personal favoritism toward it, is neutral. XMR, I'm also negatively biased towards this one, expecting that all the anonymous coins are going to get hit by the Security and Exchange Commission. You can't track it. How can they tax you on that? They're going to make that as the bad one and all the other ones as the good cryptos, and then everything is going to take off and be happy. Fail. XRP. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Really nice shape. I like it. I've got to make that an alert. That's been a long time since this coin's been done anything interesting at all. Zcash. Nancy in our Discord group nailed it right, like at the minute. She was saying, is this the time to buy? And it's taking off right now. It's almost been done this crossover. I'm going to leave it marked as a hold. But if you know the risk control rules, you've started off with a very small bit of your position, and you will only hold it if it keeps proving you correct. And then you'll know that there are times over and over and over and over again where we see these potential bottom formations shaping up. Everything gets so exciting looking. Oh, here we go. So you got to be ready for that before you get in. You got to be ready. This is crash up derby. This is not just buy and away you go, make millions in crypto. I don't know who gets the Lambo for the prices going down like this, but the money goes somewhere. ZRX. Okay, neutral, but I like the little curl just at the end, so that's nice. Neutral. Now, at the end here, we get to copy and paste this formula down, and we'll see what the numbers are. 8 of them have gone now to alert, 7 are hold, 7 are alert. That's 0. 8 and 5 for fail and near fail, and 25 for neutral. So some of our neutrals have come up into alerts, and some of those alerts have come up into holds. And that is a nice little extra bit of bullishness for our altcoins. Let me see if I can open that up over here, so that we can see that whole front screen. All right, so our bullishness just ticked above the bearishness. That's good to see. The green and the yellow starting to gain some momentum, the red and the orange staying pretty flat, and the neutrals are starting to come down while the green and the yellows are going up. That is what we're looking for. That's what we want to see. And when we look at the Bitcoin dominance, it is in a top formation. If it continues and drops below these levels, I think that the altcoins are really going to take off. And we'll see it also taking off in this altcoin market cap versus dominance chart. That April 1st to May 13th, we see when all the alts came down on average, this is the pattern. Then they bounced and consolidated, and they're making this consolidation. All of us, we're seeing all these bottom formations. Everything's in this gray color, neutral. As they start to pass, as this passes those levels, I know we're going to see it in our spreadsheet. All of these will be passing from gray to positive. And you know, when we go back to, come to think of it, February 10th, 11th to the 15th, February 10th to the 15th, here it is. Here it is. There it is, right in the charts, right there. And we can see it in the color coding as that happened, as this bottom formation happened and the altcoin market cap versus dominance went up. Was that, now let's go back here in February. There it is. There's the downtrend right there as that second wave of altcoins happened. So here's our first wave of those coins from middle of December until early January. Here's our second wave of coins. Now that is a discovery for me in these charts, and I'm going to go through and review all of that so I can see which of the coins were the ones taking off in this December timeframe and in the February timeframe. Great stuff. I'm glad to have you guys along. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you spending your time with this, and I'm really looking forward to your comments down below this video so that you can tell me which of these coins are going to be the ones that are going to be the taking off earliest in June. Thank you again for tuning in. I will sign off for now. Great to have you guys. Before I sign off, let me go check the chat over here. If I was to buy one coin from Polo, which would it be? For me, if I'm going to buy coin, I wouldn't do any clams, that's for sure. For my own part, the risky guy in me that's looking for the big hit that's going to be the biggest take off, I want to buy into a springboard pattern. And I want to buy into a springboard pattern that has two things backing it up. So a springboard pattern is a variation of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that I talk about in the course and in the book So you can save 80% on the book if you haven't been here before. It gives you 2 days to go there and save 80%. It's crazy. Or you get all of that training if you go and take this 7-day trial for $1. You get all of the training that comes along with this to show you why we were able to pull in this kind of returns during those times in December, January, February, and why our system went to complete Bitcoin in the first week of April. So it's not just the mystery signals that you get when you join this. You get all of this training that goes along with it, all of the back testing that goes with it, and you get the course textbook so that you understand what I'm talking about when I say that I'm looking for a springboard pattern. I can roughly tell you here, we're looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and if it breaks out above that, that's our buy signal. Or you can filter it so that you wait for it to retest those levels and then buy on strength. So you're giving yourself that one extra filter. The springboard pattern is taking out those filters and saying, you know what, it's looking like it's gonna be a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, so I'm gonna buy. And if it goes down below this number 3 point, I'm getting out. It's super risky. And so if there is something that had, first of all, it's in the springboard pattern shape. Second of all, we have a divergence in the RSI over this period of time. This is 2-week period of time that the RSI is diverging positive while the prices are holding back like this. So this coin already has 2 of the 3 requirements. And then I would go in and let's go BTC all the way down to the end. ZRX again, go out to the 3-month view, and this fails right there. Because there's such a big negative divergence in the on-balance volume, I want to see it the other way around, exactly the other way around, where there was a little bit of volume here and there's a whole bunch, even though the price didn't go up. So now we're seeing the momentum shifting the other way, but it just hasn't moved yet. You know, this is the kind of thing that I would say, so this one fails. And then I would go on to the next one, say, what's Ripple doing versus Bitcoin? Okay, so we've got this volume and more volume coming up right here out of this potential 1, 2, 3 bottom. So this is a little late for the springboard, but I would just buy it now because it's looking like it's going to go, and the US dollar value of it is making a bottom formation breakout right now. So that's the kind of higher risk thing that I would do just by looking at that pattern. XEM, no, it could be. Strat, now this is better, where we've got the bottom on this dumping here and a little bit of buying. We've got quite a bit of buying going on here, quite a bit of buying going on here, but it's still fading back right to really great levels. This is beautiful. And that kind of chart, if I was to go now and look at Strat in the RSI, you betcha it's got this divergence in the RSI for me as well. And the reason I like this one is because I go out to the long-term view and I see what it's done in the past. It's gone to the stratosphere. And it was phenomenal when it went. Crazy. And that's the kind of thing that I want to be into this bottom formation when it happens. The only thing is, of course, now you've seen this episode, so you know the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout in the downtrend. Even though you get a good entry, you've got to put your stop loss just above your entry and protect yourself, because we are in a downtrend. We don't know how far this downtrend is going to keep going. If Bitcoin crashes down to $5,000 from here, are all the alts going to go down with it, or are they going to spring up? I think they're going to spring up, but I don't know. And so we have to protect ourselves all the time in these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. We have to assume that we are wrong and that we put that protective stop loss to protect ourselves against this fake out breakout that happens so often. So that's how I would go about it if I was doing something at super high risk and I wanted. And another factor, I would look for something low Satoshi level. So here is 3-month view. We've got the RSI divergence. We've got the springboard pattern of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And if we go now and look at Sia coin and see what kind of volume pattern we have underneath this, not quite what I'm looking for. This is good, but I would want to see the volume picking up. So this one wouldn't make it as my super high risk if the one coin. Now this is looking better. We have the 1, 2, 3 bottom. It's almost crossed over. We have this volume pattern that's looking nice. And you bet if we go and look under quantum, I feel like this is looking under the hood to see what the indicators are telling us. So when I look under, I'm looking like I'm pulling back the price and seeing something that the price isn't necessarily telling me. And the way this volume pattern set up here is interesting. Not enough overall volume though. So anyway. Yes, that's awesome that you cashed out all your clams way up at the top there. That's the kind of stuff I like to hear, is the profit stories, for sure. I hate to hear liquidation stories, loss stories. But, you know, stubbing your toe is part of learning to walk, and learning those lessons of taking losses and learning how to take them properly was a really important part of my first bit of trading as well. So when I first started out trading, I lost all my money twice. And then it took me years, like years, before I got back into trading again. I never lost the interest, but I really had to learn about risk control before I got back into trading. And then when I started, I became more successful. And then, of course, I hit the lucky time of the altcoins taking off, and I was in the right place at the right time with the right strategy. So even with the right strategy, if you're not at the right time, this strategy doesn't work. It only works when the markets are doing specific things that they are setting up for right now. They're super, super exciting right now. So that'll wrap it up for today's show. I'm glad to go through this stuff, but I've got lots of good stuff going on today. So I'm glad this is done. I don't want to get behind on this spreadsheet too much now, because the data here is going to be worth its weight in Bitcoin. How's that? Anyway, I'll sign off for now. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I look forward to hearing what your predictions are for the best coin in June of 2019. Cheers.